Hey guys, I'm Adam from Max Mentality. I teach sports psychology and mental performance for athletes and other types of performers. And today we'll be looking at mental toughness. So I think everyone's heard of mental toughness, but there might be a bit of confusion to what it actually means, or everyone has kind of different interpretations. But I want to kind of make a presentation just to understand what it actually means and how you can increase it or apply it to your games. So let's get started. This is what we'll go over. So kind of brief description of what it is, and then the four pillars. This is we'll get to that soon, and just the importance of it, and then just comparing it in elite athletes, right? And I used a kind of I used the main source to kind of build this topic, right? It's in my article, which is basically a longer version of this presentation, this video. So you can check it out there. That's in the description. But yeah, it kind of this study interviewed elite athletes and looked at their perceptions of mental toughness. And so we'll look at that and then show you how to build mental toughness and then just kind of conclude it there. So the overview. Mental toughness is one of the most important psychological characteristics in achieving performance excellence. I think we can all agree there, even though we might not understand why yet. So it was born in like the sports world, right? That's kind of where it was invented or discovered. But it's spread to different domains in life, so business, entrepreneurship, and it's quite important in those domains as well. So it's not just the sports world, but just life in general. And it's basically a collection of qualities that help athletes be able to handle demanding training and intense pressures and come out winning without losing confidence, right? And unlike physical toughness, which is strength, durability, kind of being able to withstand pain, mental toughness describes the mind. Okay, and that's fairly obvious. It's basically taking what's physical and just kind of applying it to the mind, which is it's much more conceptual, but I think much more important as well. And it is a psychological advantage which enables one to consistently perform at a high level. And of course, when we think of mentally tough athletes, these are the ones I think of, and you might think of as well: Kobe, McGregor, Messi, Selena. We think if I asked you, like, are these mentally tough athletes, and you'd say yes, most likely, but it's like, do we know why? Can you explain why? And maybe you could, but I know before researching this, I couldn't kind of conceptualize or explain it very well. I'll just say like it's being strong in the mind or something like that, but it's actually much deeper than that. So we'll get to that. These are four pillars. So like I mentioned before, I kind of built off the foundation of this particular source, and using other sources as well, I kind of created kind of like the big five personalities. This it's a lot that goes into personality traits, right? But we kind of categorized them into five, and that's kind of what I did, but for mental toughness. So I created the four pillars of mental toughness, and there may be exceptions. There may be things that might not fit very well, or they're quite loose. So don't take it as a rigid structure. It's kind of like it's a simple way to just communicate things to do with mental toughness. So take it as it is. But what I came up with was there's control, resilience, self-efficiency, and consistency. And we'll go over these now. So control is basically the ability to be aware of one's arousal. And arousal meaning just levels of like energy, of excitement, right? Or anxiety or nervousness. So it's kind of like different forms of energy that get us going, right? In some way, it may be positive, maybe negative. So, and it's also to retain the optimal level of it throughout a competition. That's pretty important, right? So if athlete notices that they're too nervous, anxious, excited, or not excited enough, they use techniques to lower or increase their arousal. So in the competition, it's very important to be able to be energized, all right? Or if you're too energized, you want to calm it down. But it depends on the sport. So There's some sports, let's say basketball or boxing, where high levels of energy, high levels of arousal is very important, right? But there's some sports. So let's say kind of like target practice sport, like archery or shooting, golf. Sometimes those require lower levels of arousal, much lower, right? Because you have to be very calm, and so it depends completely on the player and also the sport. But control is one of the four pillars. The next one is resilience. This is being able to bounce back from emotional hits. These are emotional hits that everyone goes through when performing, right? Missing a free throw or missing a put. Even seeing successful performances by opponents, that's kind of underrated. If you see like your opponent doing really well, that probably put an effect on you. You're like, damn, he's doing really good. I'm not doing as good. It's like it really kind of hits you, and that's part of resilience. And also, we're seeing a bad quote from our free. That's just another example. But these are stressors, right? And resilience is just being able to overcome those, or like not, take them to heart. You move on, you focus on the next task. That's resilience. So self-efficiency just refers to the confidence or trust in one's ability to take actions necessary to accomplish particular objectives on their own, right? So obviously in team sports, you can't do everything on your own, but you can do what you need to do by yourself, and do it when the time is right, when there's pressure as well. That's important. It's being able to motivate oneself to do what needs to be done successfully and believe that one can continue to do so even under immense stress. Right? So in training, you might be able to do what you need to do, but in the game, it might be a different story. And self-efficiency is part of that. And the last one is consistency. It's kind of like take the last three pillars and kind of carry on with that. So basically, that one can perform, be resilient, determined, confident, efficient, and in control under pressure more consistently than their opponents, right? This is a very key factor that takes these guys to the next level compared to other athletes that are kind of below them in that level, right? They can do all these things, all these pillars at a consistent level. They can keep doing it. Kobe can keep making those clutch shots. He can just keep doing it, right? That's what separates many, right, from the few. So a lot can accomplish any of the previous three qualities, but only the best can keep doing them. So why is mental toughness important? Essentially, for someone to be successful at any activity, whether that be in sports, business, whatever, a person just can't fold under pressure. They want to thrive in life. Like, of course, there'll be life is not just ups. There's lots of downs, right? But it's not kind of you can't let those downs stop you, right? And that's part of mental toughness. It's like you'll go through tough shit, but you have to kind of make a comeback and win, right? So that's why it's important, because we like the phoenix, we are reborn from death, from what is bad, from the bad times of life. So, well, that's quite philosophical, but but mental toughness in elite athletes. So this is kind of like the things I found that were really interesting in elite athletes and how they saw mental toughness. And what they did is that they began to increase their awareness of the amount of psychological skills that were out there, right, for them to take. So they just kind of understood, like, what are the different parts of mental toughness, so all the various attributes within those four pillars. And after that, they enhanced it, they developed it, they maintained it. But yeah, however, to be effective, this led to however just lost the line. However, athletes must understand that such strategies do require a great deal of time. Yeah, so they understand, athletes understand that this shit takes time, right? It's no quick fix. It takes time, commitment, patience, all to be effective, right? And that's why many of them kind of practice mental toughness religiously. They just it's like Kobe just keeps doing that one shot, right, just over and over again. Like Bruce Lee, the 1,000 kicks. It's part of maintaining that mental toughness that is so important for them to win. Okay. And although elite athletes identify about 10 to 20 traits for developing mental toughness, they kind of attributed three underlying traits for maintaining it. So there's developing it and there's maintaining it. And these are the three of the traits for maintaining it after you kind of developed it pretty well. So an irrepressible and internalized desire to succeed. So yeah, those elite athletes really like to win. And they also have a network of supporters from both the sporting and non-sporting world. So that's quite important as well. And also effective application of both basic and advanced psychological techniques. So, it's kind of like the four pillars, but, just in different levels of intensity. Not intensity, but the word will come later, but I think you know what I mean. So I've come up with, or I haven't come up, but I found 6 ways that you can build mental toughness. These are 6 things you can do. Of course, I recommend all of it, but you don't do it. You don't have to do it all at the same time. That might not be a good idea, but it's kind of just to show you the steps that you can take, right? First is seeing is believing, and this basically means like watching players that are better than you, okay? Especially elite athletes, like you can watch that on YouTube, but even in real life is pretty effective. Just watching players on the field that are just better than you, right? That can have a really good impact on you, okay? And it can give you the motivation to advance to their level and accomplish what they have accomplished. Also seeing their self-belief, this is pretty important. Seeing their self-belief, their confidence and trust in themselves, it will greatly affect your self-belief. It's like it'll just rub off on you, right? That's pretty important. And this is part of the control and self-efficiency pillars. So I put the pillars on the right, just so you understand what you're building. Changing your mindset is realizing how you think and how you feel influences your performance. So you may or may not notice, but literally this is part of neuroplasticity, which if you haven't heard of, or check out my other video on neuroscience. It's get you up to speed there. But yeah, how you think and feel influences your performance. So if you have a lot of negative thoughts, you have to replace those positive ones, right? And you have to interpret. You can do this by interpreting failures and mistakes as a result of a lack of practice rather than a lack of skill. So instead of saying I'm shit, you can say, okay, this is my weakness. I need to fix on it so I can get better. Okay, it's like you can actually turn that to a positive thing. Like this is an opportunity. Like instead of saying this is I failed, you can say this is an opportunity to get better. This is a lesson to learn, right? So it's all part of the mindset. And this one, experiencing competition. So increased competitive experience can lead you to feel more and more comfortable in the competitive environment. At first, it might feel, very stressful, and of course it will be. You'll meet you'll find some real competitive energy out there. But after you keep experiencing it, you'll just get used to it, and it will make you mentally tougher, right? You can withstand that pressure. But yeah, the determination generated from competitive rivalry will help you push through the physically and psychologically demanding aspects of training and competition. Mental preparation. This is important. These are all important, actually. But we use techniques such as goal setting, reflection, kind of self-talk, and we use it to develop an insatiable desire and internalized motive to succeed. Like I said, it's one of the 3 underlying mechanisms for maintaining mental toughness. And this desire for succeed, you may or may not have it right now. You might just be like, oh, I'm just playing for fun. But of course, you do like into the competitive environment. It's one of those things that just push you, right? It's like it goes beyond motivation, right? It's like you have to win. You just have to, right? And one of those ways is just kind of writing it down, right? Making goals like do this, do that, and it makes it more realistic. So you're like, yes, I am gonna win, and so you just think you're gonna win, and that kind of drives you. It gives you more energy, right? Allows you to increase your arousal, right, or at least maintain it. Next was having a support network. So a support network will help you accept and deal with the anxiety and pressure associated with competition while also providing a form of relaxation when inactive from the sport. It really doesn't matter how big your network is. What matters is that the people in your network are dependable, trustworthy, and they're also kind of made up from both inside and outside your sport. So the last one is discussing professionals. And what this means is basically mental toughness is easier, just like a lot of things, at a younger age easier to develop at a younger age. And having a right mentor or like a teacher, an educator, a guide to do that throughout your career is incredible. It's super valuable. Of course, you don't have to be super young to develop mental toughness. You can. It's the law of neuroplasticity. You can do it basically at any age. But it's just easier to do so at a younger age. But just talking with a sports psychologist or a mental performance coach, right? Because they have the mental tools. They know how to do this. So if they can help you, right, you will level up very quickly, right, compared to other people who have to figure out on their own. Okay. But yeah, just assisting them throughout their careers, invaluable. But that's pretty much it. So mental toughness is a great psychological advantage if you want to level up your game, go to the next stage of your career. We've discussed the 4 pillars, which is control, resilience, self-efficiency, and consistency. And we discussed 6 ways to develop mental toughness. We also found out 3 ways of maintaining it, and that comes from the elite athletes themselves. That's just having a drive to succeed, a support network, and just basic and advanced mental skills. We'll go over those basic and mental skills in another video, as well as some other stuff. But if you did enjoy this video, check out the description. We got an article version of this, which is just a bit more. There's more detail to it. So if you really want to know more, check that out. Also, our Twitter, we got some stuff that might help you. We got some bite-sized chunks to go over every day, so you kind of get reminded about what's important to your mental performance. But yeah, like and subscribe, and we'll see you to the next one.